Hi, well, we're back again, and I'm pretty confident this is number 3. Jay, am I right? Yeah, good. Thumbs up. Let me talk about that song and talk about As We Grow Old again, because I told you this is a kind of thing, and I'm not going to play the whole song. I want you to go and see the performance on the other part of the channel. If you want to hear the song, Phil Ryan Music, As We Grow Old, Spotify. It's free. I don't make any money. Just like to point out that I have a song on Spotify that hasn't earned a huge sum of money, because you don't get a huge sum of money, but lots of people know my music. So it's a kind of quid pro quo, I suppose. Let me just tune my guitar, so it sounds a bit dodgy. So, As We Grow Old was a song I told you I wrote in a kind of classic verse, chorus, middle 8, chorus and out. I did small versions, I did big versions. And I've told you the lyric, and the lyric is, we set out on this journey, baby, you and me, facing life together as we go. And it ain't always easy, the road ain't always clear, and you take my hand and say you won't let go. And I think that's kind of a lovely thing to say to somebody. And then you get the bit that you really hit them with. And it is, as we grow old, this love won't fade. We're just one soul, we're unafraid. Let the stars go out and the sun grow cold. I'll keep on loving you as we grow old. And what you're saying to somebody, and it's a bit obvious, I know, is that I'm going to love you forever till the stars finish and the sun. You think, oh, that's huge and it's a bit cliched and always whatever. Yeah, it is. It's also beautiful, because so many people tell me that's their favourite song, and when I get to a show and I do it, they sing the chorus. If you ever want one of the best feelings you can ever have as a songwriter, is to stand on a stage and hear loads of people, thousands, singing your song back at you, because you know they get it. They feel the same way as you, and I need you to think about, make me feel what you feel. Because I take the bins down, I do the shops, I wash the car. I'm just a regular person like everybody is. We just have to do this stuff. So we all experience the same human condition. So talk a little bit, it says here, talk about chords. Now, I don't want to go into big musicology, etc., but I'll tell you something that I often used to teach to people when I was talking about basic guitar. Major chords. They're happy. Hey, I'm happy. Minor chords, I'm depressed. Okay, major 7 chords. Hey, I'm cool. A minor 7, kind of I'm going somewhere chords. And I used to give them all these stupid names so that the children could really understand what the chords kind of meant and how they could link them together. And chords are exactly that. They're a chain that links together a tune. And when we think about chords, fast or slow, remember I talked about this, beats per minute, it could be a fast song, it can be a sort of speedy song, it can be a really detailed song, a slow song, one of these. And that's the sort of Adele type, when you get those really heartbreaking songs. When we talk about these chords, where do they come from? Where do we find them? Well, we have to sit down and be creative. And we go back to structure, we go back to beats per minute, we go back to emotion, all of the things I've already said. And it comes down to this. What is the story I'm trying to tell? What is the movie picture? Who are these characters that I'm trying to write about, direct, and tell you how they feel? Because if I get that right, you feel the same way. So I don't want to go on and on about, oh, it's non-technical, it's non-technical. But when you think about it, and I've said this loads of times, and I think it upsets some people, the best songs you ever hear are 4 and 5 chords. And people go, what? Yeah. Even the great bands like the Beatles and all these amazing songs that people remember, and all the new artists, and there's just hundreds of new artists all the time. It's 5 or 6 chords. It's not like Beethoven, it's not like a million notes. What sets it apart though? Sometimes it's that top line. Remember the top line I talked about? It's that dee-da-da-da, dee-da-da-da. There's a John Legend song. And it goes, all of me loves all of you. Perfect imperfection, da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's got that da-da, da-da-na-na. And he's a brilliant writer. It's 5 chords. It's 5 chords. And it's brilliant. Can you play 5 chords? I'm pretty sure you can. So if you can do 5 chords, brilliant. You can write songs. So never forget, don't be panicky, don't be frightened. Oh, I won't be able to get that. A thing I'm always ambivalent about is open mic nights, because sometimes open mic nights to me, it's good because it gives young performers or new performers a chance to perform in front of other people and show their work. And I really like that. I think the thing that we miss in our world now is live music. I'm a huge advocate. Music, you know, in your earbuds and on your phone and stuff is all very cool, even on stereos. See it live. It goes through you. It touches you. So there are lots of open mics and people sometimes come out and some of you think, well, that song's okay. But I've been to open mic nights and I've been blown away. Some guy who's like 14 has just written a song and I'm thinking, God, I've been on this planet years. Wow, how did that kid write that song? Because he was truthful, because he was honest and he had a story and he was a movie director and he was all of the things I'm asking you to try and understand and be. And it really touched me. And other times, song's okay. And I do the same. I joke with my friends sometimes. They say, what have you been doing? So I wrote this song today. And they say, how was it? I said, meh, it's all right. And it goes on a pile of songs that were just all right. But the good news, and I'm really pleased about this, every now and again I write a song and I go, that is a song. When I play people that, wow. And that's where you get to. And the only way, I'm afraid, and you're going to hate the next word, practice. Practice. You just don't turn up and write like a war-winning album. You need to practice. And what I mean, practice your art, listen to lots of music and deconstruct it. Now, I've been deconstructing As We Grow Old, my song, through this last little bit, haven't I? And I've told you that 4 chords. Okay, so there's the chorus. As we grow old, this love won't fade. We're just one soul, we're unafraid. I'm going to repeat those 4 chords, all right? Oh, 5, woo, same chord again. So that was, again, a 5 chord song. But in my opinion, and it is only an opinion, you don't have to get too clever and fancy with loads of millions of different chords. Now, if you look at someone like Jacob Collier is a genius. Jacob writes 97 chords in a song that most people would put 5 in, because he just has this weird way, which is an incredibly beautiful way of looking at music and finding these different avenues and journeys. And it is really, to me, fascinating. But he's like a prodigy. He's just music. I don't think he actually breathes oxygen. I think he actually breathes music. It's just incredibly talented, gifted. He also seems a really lovely guy, which I think is quite nice. But his music touches so many people because they get it. Now, I've talked about all different names during my life where people say, who influenced me? Now, remember, I'm an older guy, so I like people like James Taylor, and I like Bill Withers, who's now no longer with us, and this is the guy that wrote Ain't No Sunshine, Lovely Day. These are classic old songs. But I listen to new stuff, and I listen to the latest artists and hear stuff, and I think, wow, what a great song. And what is the big key factor in all of those guys? Practice. They practice their art. So please don't think you can just mess around for an hour and then that's it. You need to put a bit of effort in. Put effort in and you get results out. Okay? So I've talked about the idea of deconstruction. So when I want you to deconstruct a song, what I mean by listen to a track that you really like and try to figure out how it was made. There used to be a thing, they used to call it reverse engineering. And you get these companies like camera companies, and they'd steal someone else's camera, get their engineer to take it to bits and figure out how it worked, and then they'd copy it. They used to call it reverse engineering. They used to do spies and stuff. And sometimes musicians, without us knowing it, we're a bit like that. We do reverse engineering. We're not aware we're doing it, but we're somehow listening to a track that we love, and then we start writing and thinking, oh, I've done many sessions in my life where I've been in the studio and they've asked me to play a piece of music and the client hasn't been around, and I played it and the engineer said, great job, Phil, thanks, you can go home now. What did you think of the track? And I've often said, yeah, I liked it when this other guy wrote it, because they've effectively written exactly the same song, but they've just moved the chords around. And you hear that sometimes. Sometimes people end up in court because it's basically, they didn't write the song. I don't think they stole it. I want to be clear on that. I don't think they stole it. I think they just were unknowingly writing a song they loved so much, they just rewrote it again. So what I want you to do with this deconstruction theory, listen to a track you like, look at the speed. Now, I'll not talk today, maybe I'll talk a little bit later in another part of the series about production, because right now it's just the simplicity. What did I say? An instrument, piece of paper and a pen and an idea. That's how a song can start. Your computer, little bit of an idea, bit of a lyric idea, practice, work it. Some people write a lyric and go, that's perfect, I love it. Some people spend months changing a word, and they're the only person that notices. I know some writers who I really admire, and they've sort of spent a year writing a song. I'm thinking, wow. And to be honest, we're all perfectionists in everything we do in life. And sometimes we can hear something that nobody else can, but we're still a bit OCD about it. So until we get that line perfect, we won't let people hear it. Other people are a bit more, that'll do. That sounds good to me. Now, I'm not saying one's right and one's wrong. I'm saying it's how your style is and how you feel comfortable writing. So what I want to talk about now with that deconstruction, I've written down here a list of like some of the classic big ballads is I Have Nothing But You, Whitney Houston, All of Me, John Legend. Hello in there is John Prine. He's an Americana artist who just wrote some of the most beautiful songs with the most beautiful lyrics. The Dance, which is a country song by Garth Brooks. You listen to that and it just is a glorious song. Now, you may not like country music, you may not like that kind of genre. Be bold, listen to stuff. See how they made it. Yeah, you can stay in your own genre, keep deconstructing it, but be careful. You stay too long, you just end up like a photocopy version of a band that you really like. And the truth is there, you just become a not very good version of them. Now, you might come out with a song and sell it to that band. So I don't know. For all I know, you write a track and go, you know, my favourite band should do this. Send it to them. You know, not every songwriter knows that they've got the great songs. You do know that some of the most famous musicians in the world don't write their own songs. They have writers like me and like you. And that's our job. So a friend of mine played me Castle on the Hill, Ed Sheeran. I wasn't expecting that. And that's a song by, I just remembered it, Jamie Lawson. Okay. So Jamie Lawson wrote a song called I Wasn't Expecting That. And I can't remember in the last years when a song affected me more. I'm not going to tell you what it's about. I just want you to hear it. Because you get to this last part of this song and it knocks you flat. And it just shows the brilliance of that guy as a songwriter. He took on a subject which was really difficult and it was perfect. And sometimes it's a bit like when you kind of make a nice cup of tea, obviously tea theory here, or a really nice meal and you think, God, it is perfect. Sometimes you can write a song and think that is really brilliant, that's perfect. And you won't often know until you play it to other people. And so sometimes, remember, rule number 400, sometimes play your tracks to people, but don't get someone to say, oh yeah, you're great, you're great. Get them to be honest. Say, look, you know, I know you're my friend, my mum, my sister, whatever, but honestly, because sometimes people get fooled by friends. Oh, they're wonderful. And again, I go to open mic nights. I've been to open mic nights where somebody's brought a load of their friends. They've just not been very good. And I've seen them afterwards and their friends are saying, oh, God, you're amazing. And I just thought, well, actually you weren't. And the audience didn't respond very well and you didn't connect to the audience very well. So I don't want people being upset, being sad that actually when it comes down to it, their work needed more work. They needed to practice more. They needed to deconstruct songs and they didn't need to copy. Yeah? You can be influenced. You can hear a tune that makes you feel something, but just don't do a complete copy. So I'm going to wrap up now, and it's the final thought. Why do I write songs? And I like writing songs because I like writing songs, and it makes me happy. And yes, I can make a living, and sometimes I do concerts and things, and I write my songs and people buy them. But do you know, and I shouldn't really say this on a recorded thing, really, I think sometimes I do it even if they didn't pay me. Because to write a song and create a song sometimes is one of the most wonderful things you can do. So hopefully nobody ever sees that bit. But what I want to say is, last thing, practice, be calm, you've got this.